What the fuck happened to boxing? It is literally a fucking circus now. Matter of fact, they need to change the sport immediately to Barnum and Bailey boxing. A circus propaganda filled with boxing misfits. Boxing is a straight fucking joke now. You know, I remember way back whenever it used to be called boxing. You used to have to go through the amateur circuit, Olympic trials, a stepping stone of events, and a process to become a professional boxer. Events that made it impossible for the average Joe to just walk in the ring all willy-nilly, knock out the middleman, no pun intended, and get thrusted into professional boxing. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's virtually impossible to watch boxing. Every time I see who's on the calling card, I just want to Earl. I used to think my Earling days was behind me, but this circus type boxing has brought my shit out of commission. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that every professional boxer is trash, or they're not worthy enough to box, or calling them circus freaks. I'm calling the process a circus. But I am saying those that don't take those necessary steps to become a professional boxer, whom now consider themselves in the same realm as a professional boxer, are not worthy of being a professional boxer. A street boxer, yes, that does not require a rigorous process. You put your hands up, you ball them in the fist, or not, and sling the motherfuckers. Wildly, you're fighting. And if you connect, you're boxing, preferably with an opponent. And it doesn't require a ring, or a ref, or experience, at times a fist. Some of the best fighters are slap boxers. Niggas just be well in open hands. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. Boxing has become a circus. And I would say I have Conor McGregor to not thank for that. He started this whole circus phenomenon by jumping out of his element. A UFC fighter, arguably was one of the best at the game, to fight Floyd Mayweather, a professional boxer, maybe one of the best fighters in the world, or to ever box, pound for pound, whom now appears to be a circus stalker, just looking for a payday regardless of ranking, for an amount the average professional boxer wouldn't see during his entire career. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Conor McGregor for going after the bag. And for some of you that don't know, the bag is money in ghetto terms. But I am knocking the motherfucker that is willing to jeopardize the integrity of boxing, the foundation, the brand, by fighting circus fights with non-professional boxers, whom completely slip the entire process on what it takes to become a professional boxer. And I'm not talking about a few sparring rounds with a professional sparrer just because you got the cash flow to afford them. That still doesn't make you a professional boxer. But for you, in general, a professional boxer, to fight scabs for the bag over the integrity of the history of boxing, Joe Louis, Johnny Liston, Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, Tommy Hearns, Joe Frazier, Sugar Ray Leonard, George Foreman, Oscar De La Hoya, Evander Holyfield, Bernard Hopkins, and Michael Spinks. What happened? You used to fight people of that caliber. Now you're fighting YouTubers. And I'm sorry, I don't care how you look at it or anybody else look at it, but Logan will always be a motherfucking YouTuber to me. And that's it. You know, if you'd have went from a boxer to a YouTuber, yeah, that's cool. But you can't go from a YouTuber to a boxer. Ain't nobody gonna take your ass fucking serious. That's like going from them Boy Scout box cart races. The next day, you doing professional drag racing. Nah, doesn't make sense. And Floyd, for you doing that, I lost all respect for you as far as boxing goes. You are no longer in my list of greats. That's how I feel and how I see it. Some of you might not care. That's on you, but I care. Why not just rape me now and get it over with? That's figuratively speaking. I do not mean literally rape me. That's too extreme to be that pissed off. If you think that, you might need help. And I'm only talking about losing respect for you in the ring, not out. I don't know you like that to care for you outside the ring. What you do is your prerogative. You can do what you want to do. It's your prerogative. I don't give a fuck. But I do kind of care what you do inside the ring. When it comes to boxing, I can get catchy feelings, man. Especially if I fell head over heels for your character. Kind of like a relationship. You fucked me over, I want to break up. Time for me to find another boxer. Because a nigga can only be single for so long. So anyway, Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fought. The fight was straight trash. That shit was boring. Mayweather did what he does best, jab and run around the ring. And Conor, he just looked confused. You can tell he was struggling not to kick Mayweather's block off or grab him and put his ass into submission. And at times, he couldn't keep his eyes off Floyd's shins, which led to jabs to the face, equaled not a good fight. But the ironic thing, people ate that shit up. They couldn't get enough. The media went gaga. And I'm not talking about the lady. Streams was through the roof. Pay-per-view was on overload. And the niggas got a 6-figure payday for a fucking circus fight. You see, to some people, it's all about the bag. Loyalty, integrity, boxing morals does not exist. But Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and the rest of the YouTubers, NBA players, MMA fighters that fight exhibition fights, nothing wrong with that shit. It is what it is. An exhibition fight. It's a bonus for them. You fight in the ring for fun. You get a nice check. Who wouldn't do that shit? And you can't get irate at somebody for accepting a fight for a ton of money to fight a professional boxer. But a pro boxer stepping down, risking his reputation, his name, to fight a scab is flat out insulting. And a loogie to the face of all them pro boxers that kept it professional and nothing less. Matter of fact, pro boxers should not be allowed to fight non-professional boxers. Not to mention it can be dangerous for the non-pro scab boxers. But unfortunately, this generation, you can tell most of them are clueless at what real boxing used to be like. But you can't blame them. Besides Floyd and Pacquiao, several other boxers, there hasn't been a real fight since the 90s, early 2000s. These kids nowadays were infants, some not even born. But I blame the parents. Y'all motherfuckers should have been programmed subconsciously. It should be second nature for you to present your newborns with a compilation of all the greatest fights before the 21st century. That's all you have to do. It's not counterintuitive. If y'all parents would have done that shit, we would not be going through this bullshit. Y'all want to call boxing now. But I'm sorry. I refuse to give in. This shit will never be boxing in my eyes. Now, everybody and their mamas and daddies, kids, adoptees can fight a professional boxer. As long as they have a huge social media following, fuck the skills. I got people want to watch me get my ass kicked or get lucky and win. So anyway, after the Floyd and McGregor fight and the astronomical spike in ratings, the Boxing Association, or whomever is in charge, figure we gotta do this shit again. Niggas is getting paid. So why not look at Logan, a huge social media YouTuber juggernaut, who's, I can't even say pro boxing record is a whopping fucking 0-1. And that loss was to a British internet personality, KSI. I mean, am I missing something here? Isn't Jake Paul the one that's knocking out YouTubers? So why not look at him? Whom is knocking out YouTube stars left and right. He TKO'd Deji, then Anna Sun Gibb. Excuse my pronunciation. I'm having a hard time pronouncing these motherfucking names. And when Jake knocked out a retired 4-foot NBA star, Nate Robinson, damn near left him in a vegetative state, was a straw that broke the camel's back. That shit created a media addiction, as if YouTubers were now cocaine and people are in need of a fix. Regardless of the level of talent, they just want to see a YouTuber versus anybody. Thanks to Jake, motherfuckers think they are invincible. YouTubers are now the #1 boxing contenders in the world. Forget the Alis and the Tysons. Niggas, a YouTuber will beat your ass. And I know for a lot of you that is wishful thinking. Anyway, so right now I'm finding it very hard to talk about Logan Paul. This motherfucker does not have a track record at all. In boxing, that is. Thanks to his brother Jake Paul, I got a lot of shit to talk about. So up next, Jake fights Ben Askren, a former MMA fighter. Oh, they hyped that shit up so much. People actually thought it was a Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas rematch, even if they knew it was two white dudes. And what ended up happening, Ben got knocked out in the middle of the first round. What appeared to be an obvious payout for the refs. That fight was an orchestrated loss. And if you see the hit from the side view, instead of straight on, Jake missed him by a foot. But thanks to Ben's superb Oscar performance, he fooled everybody, including the refs. Relax, I'm joking. I know it was a knockout. Supposedly. But regardless of the obvious intentional defeat, people now think Jake is a young Michael Spinks. And since the people think that, not the pro boxers, but the people, as if what they say defines your career now, got pro boxers thinking they need to intervene. As if those YouTube fights are real boxing matches, hindering their rankings. Like Floyd saying, oh man, fuck. This Logan Paul, although he's 0-1, a YouTuber, has a chance to be like me, 89-0. I can't let that happen. People are going to start thinking he's better than me. And if you think that, you should relinquish all your belts, then get demoted to that guy that puts on the gloves on the amateur boxers. You might be asking me, Art, for you to hate it so much, why in the hell do you know so much about it? Well, that's easy. When I wake up in the morning, I check my social media. It's inundated with nothing but memes from the corny ass fights. And of course I'm inclined to check that shit out. That's inevitable. But anyway, so now everybody wants a piece of Logan and Jake Paul. Professional boxers, present and retired, act like these dudes is a stepping stone to defining their careers. I'm literally at a loss for fucking words. Actually, I shouldn't say literally, because I got this far with the words I've used. So how about at the moment? At the moment, I'm at a loss for words. Because now, after so many invitations from famed professional boxers, MMA fighters, and YouTube stars, Floyd Mayweather got dibs to fight Logan, which is being called the fight of the century by many YouTubers. Jake Paul and Logan Paul's stock has went up so high, it's only fair we start calling them by first name basis only. Like Madonna, Cher, Oprah, Bono, Sting. And just think, he's only 0-1. If he beats Floyd, he's in a win-win. He'll be considered one of the greatest boxers ever at 1-1 and the only boxer to ever beat Floyd. And if he loses, it'll be a YouTuber lost to one of the greatest boxers ever who was dumb enough to fight him. If Floyd wins, nigga, what? You beat a YouTuber? Nigga, sit your ass down. But I do gotta give it to Jake and Logan. Them some smart ass bros. Because them motherfuckers is playing y'all like fiddles right now. Their hands are full of aces. And they only have a total of 5 fucking fights. 4 circus fights and 1 professional. Anyway, besides these circus fights, I'ma tell y'all what is a great sight to see. Them retired professional boxers come out of retirement to fight real exhibition fights. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. Although the fight was lopsided, Roy was slightly out of shape. Looked like he was looking around picking spots throughout the ring to take a nap. And Mike looking like Mike of O, with the signature trademark look, black on black with the shoes and the socks, just looking smooth, ready to chew off the left ear. But he did a good job holding back. Their agendas were complete opposite. Mike obviously thought it was a real fight. And Roy was like, nigga, relax. This is just for fun. We're not even supposed to hit above the shoulders, Mike. Damn. But regardless of what you thought about the fight, it was a great sight to see. 2 Hall of Fame boxers going at it. Up next, Tyson and Lennox Lewis. Bring it on. I can't wait. I don't care if Lennox shows up out of shape in a wheelchair, God forbid, but I'll be satisfied. To see them two in the same ring again will be historical. But all in all, let's get back to real boxing, please. Enough of these circus fights. And if you do circus fights, leave the professional boxers out of it. And Mike, bring your ass out of retirement. We need you. On to the next.